The Birchwood Lodge dining room had never felt so still. The kind of stillness that only follows a realization too large to ignore. Wait, the food never arrived? My father's voice stammered through the speakerphone, his usual bravado cracking under the weight of public embarrassment. Around the oversized farmhouse table, decked in silverware, hand-stitched place cards, and a floral centerpiece no one could eat, sat 17 confused relatives, all staring at empty plates. My Aunt Denise glanced nervously toward my cousin Jonah. I could almost hear the unraveling begin. I was 250 miles away, standing in the sunlit kitchen of my craftsman home in Bozeman, Montana. A mug of hot mulled cider warmed my hands as I leaned against the counter, calm and composed. "Oh," I said gently into the phone. "I just assumed I wasn't needed." Silence. The kind that spreads fast and wide. "What does she mean?" my uncle hissed. "She paid for it, didn't she?" my cousin muttered. "Yes, I had. And then I canceled it." "My name is Erin Callahan. I'm 41, the eldest daughter, the family fixer, the quiet backbone of too many holidays. Thanksgiving used to mean something, not joy, performance, a ritual of keeping up appearances while resentment quietly simmered beneath polished family photos. I grew up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My siblings got warmth, affection, and second chances. I got responsibilities. I packed lunches, proofread essays, and arranged holiday logistics like it was my job. And it always was. The final break came just 10 days before Thanksgiving 2023. Aunt Denise posted, "Can't wait to see everyone," in the family thread. I replied simply, "Me too, excited to join." No response. 2 hours later, my cousin Ben messaged me privately. "Wait, are you coming? Your mom told us you weren't invited this year." My stomach dropped. I called my mother immediately. She hesitated, then said, "It's just, we wanted it to be peaceful this year, less stress." "I am your daughter," I said. "I am family." She sighed. "It's just easier this way." So I made it easier for them. I canceled the catering they never bothered to ask me about, let them enjoy their peace, and I enjoyed mine. With a warm drink, a full heart, and not a single dish to clean. There hadn't been any drama, unless you count me finally saying no when Dad asked if I could cover Kyle's engine replacement, or when I politely declined to help pay off the ballooning credit card bill from Leah's third wedding. I checked the guest list twice. My younger siblings, invited. Their spouses, naturally. Even second cousins I hadn't seen in years were on the thread, gushing about pies and flight times. Me, nothing. Well, I may not have had a seat at their table, but they were still about to taste what it felt like to forget who actually funded the feast. It wasn't until the shock started to settle that I realized something crucial. A week earlier, Dad had casually texted, "Hey, mind chipping in for the meal this year?" But I hadn't chipped in. I had paid. The turkey, an organic, dry-brinned beauty from Three Pines Butcher, flown in overnight from Portland. The sides? All pre-ordered from Birch and Grain, the upscale deli Mom raved about last spring. And the dessert? A double-layer pumpkin cheesecake and 4 dozen cranberry-crusted pecan tarts from a pastry chef in Missoula who had a 6-week wait list. Every single order billed to me, every receipt under my name. They hadn't just forgotten me, they had used me. So I made 2 calls. The butcher refunded without hesitation. The bakery hesitated. Until I forwarded the order confirmation with my credit card ending in 9142. Order canceled. Then I waited. Thanksgiving Day, 12:17 p.m., my phone buzzed with Dad. I let it ring. Once. Twice. 4 times. Then picked up. "Hello?" "The food never came," he said, voice sharp with disbelief. Behind him the noise told its own story. Whispers, clinking glass, and Mom's voice somewhere between furious and frantic. I tilted my head, affecting just enough confusion to draw blood. "Oh, maybe check with whoever placed the order?" "You placed the order," he barked. "Did I?" I said softly. Then silence. Long, cold, final. I figured you didn't need anything from me." He didn't reply. 1 hour later, a text from my cousin sealed it. "No turkey, no pie, everything in town's closed. What happened?" I took another sip of cider. Outside, Bozeman's snow fell gently, quiet, clean, and full of peace. My younger sister Leah had brought a new boyfriend, some tech analyst from Denver she was hoping to impress. He ended up eating a microwaved, lean cuisine in the car while she cried in the guest bedroom. Mom locked herself in the ensuite bathroom and Dad sat stiff and silent in his usual spot at the head of the table, while Uncle Ray, never one for tact, blurted, "Wait, wasn't Aaron the one bringing the turkey?" The room had gone so quiet, you could hear someone set down their wineglass. Then came the whispering. 3 days later, a group text from Mom lit up my phone. "We really missed you at Thanksgiving. Hope we can put this behind us." Not an apology, just a tidy little rug to sweep the whole mess under. I didn't respond. The next day, Aunt Brenda called. "A few of us talked to your parents," she said quietly. "They needed to be confronted." Her voice carried the weight of someone who understood too much, too late. But Mom had never liked consequences. And sure enough, by Friday, a new version of the story was making the rounds. Suddenly, I was the problem. I was unstable, overly emotional, trying to make a scene. I hadn't missed Thanksgiving. I'd sabotaged it. Dad called twice. I let the first one ring, picked up the second. "I don't know what you were trying to prove," he said, his voice tight with effort, "but you embarrassed your mother." I let out a sharp laugh. Funny. I thought she didn't want me there. He sighed like it hurt him more than me. "We made a mistake, okay? But what you did was low. Lower than uninviting your daughter after she paid for your dinner?" My voice cracked, half fury, half heartbreak. "You could have just told me." "You're being dramatic," he said, clearly hoping that would end it. "It wasn't even that big of a deal." My pulse surged. It was to me. "If it's not a big deal," I said slowly, "then why are you calling me about it, Dad?" I ended the call. My hand shook so badly, I nearly dropped the phone. That night, my cousin Riley texted me. "You officially started a war." Apparently, Mom was already rewriting the script. I was difficult, unstable. And this? Just more proof. Christmas hovered like a storm cloud over the valley. I had no intention of attending, not until Aunt Brenda called. "She's telling people you're too fragile to be around family," she said gently. "That you're skipping Christmas because you can't handle conflict. And your dad's been claiming he tried to fix things, but you're being unreasonable." I pressed the phone tighter, knuckles whitening. Oh no. They weren't going to rewrite my story. Christmas Eve, 2024. I pulled into the driveway of my parents' home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The snow crunched beneath my boots, the mountain air sharp and clean. I walked up the steps, took a breath, and rang the bell, fashionably late. The second the door opened, it was like someone had yanked the power cord out of a stereo. Conversation died mid-sentence. My mother froze. Dad paused with his glass of scotch halfway to his lips. Leah, holding a plate of cookies, blinked like I'd risen from the grave. "Hi," I said brightly, slipping off my scarf. "Merry Christmas." My mother recovered first. "Oh, you came." "Of course I did," I said, smooth as ever. "Wouldn't miss it." Then I stepped aside, arm extended behind me. Someone else wanted to come too. Out stepped my guest, my grandmother. Her mother. The color drained from Mom's face like a slow leak. They hadn't spoken in nearly a decade. My mother had written her off after a bitter disagreement, too proud to make peace, too stubborn to even say her name. But I never cut ties. Grandma had been appalled when she heard what happened on Thanksgiving. When I asked if she wanted to come for Christmas, she didn't hesitate. "Oh my," Grandma said, stepping into the foyer with exaggerated charm. "It's been ages. What a festive little house, darling." My mother looked like she might collapse. Dinner was a masterpiece in passive aggression. At one point, Grandma poked at the stuffing with her fork and chirped. "Is this store-bought? So consistent. Must be mass-produced." I nearly choked on my wine. A week later, the fallout began. Texts from cousins, DMs from extended family. Heard about Christmas. Wow, your mom is spiraling. You really brought Grandma? Legend. Turns out showing up was only part one. Reminding them I still had a voice? That was the real gift. Heard there was some kind of misunderstanding? You okay? That was the first message. Polite, hesitant. Others came in sharper. Didn't think you had it in you to be that cruel. Aunt Brenda called me that afternoon. Your mom's telling people you had a breakdown, she said, voice low and weary. That you're unstable. She's saying what you did at Christmas proves it. I let out a bitter laugh. Unbelievable, yes. Surprising, not even a little. If my mother taught me anything, it was this. Truth is dangerous to people who survive by rewriting it. And if you threaten their version of reality, they'll smear yours. The realization hit like a punch to the ribs. My mother wasn't just embarrassed. She was threatened. Had exposed her carefully constructed illusion, and now she was scrambling to discredit me. If she could make me the unstable one, she wouldn't have to be accountable. She wouldn't have to be wrong. I called Grandma. She didn't hesitate. Sweetheart, she said, your mother's already been making the rounds, calling relatives, saying she's worried about you, that you're not well. My laugh was sharp this time. You know that's not true, right? I knew it before she even picked up the phone, she replied, her voice steel wrapped in velvet. That evening, I sat cross-legged on my couch, the only light coming from the soft white glow of the Christmas tree. I opened the family group chat. Typed slowly, deliberately. Hey everyone, just wanted to clear up some confusion. I'm doing well, no breakdowns, no drama. It's been a strange holiday season, but honestly, I'm in a really good place. Hope you are too. Wishing everyone a peaceful new year. Short, calm, unspinnable. The digital equivalent of smiling sweetly while your accuser chokes on their own performance. I hit send and set the phone down. And then, something unexpected happened. A message popped up from Ethan, my younger brother. Hey, can we talk? The screen glowed quietly in my palm. And just like that, the silence began to crack. We hadn't spoken in months. I called him the moment I saw the message, heart thudding like a drum. Ethan's voice came through the line, tentative, softer than I remembered. Look, I don't agree with what Mom did. Blinked. You don't? She's good at twisting things, he said quietly. Thanksgiving felt weird, but Christmas? That's when I started seeing it clearly. I let him talk. I didn't say anything at the time, he admitted, because, well, you know how she gets. Yeah, I said softly. I know. He hesitated. I didn't handle it right. But you're not crazy, Aaron. Not even close. My throat tightened. I hadn't realized how badly I needed someone in that family to say those words until the tears started to rise. Something was changing. Aunt Brenda. Grandma. Now Ethan. My mother's hold was slipping. 2 weeks later, my phone lit up. Mom. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but old instincts and curiosity won. Hello. Her tone was frosty. We need to talk in person. About what? A beat of silence. Then, your little stunt humiliated me. There it was. Not hurt me, not let's talk, just humiliated me. Sunday, 6 o'clock, she snapped. Be here. Then she hung up. Again. I almost didn't go. Until Aunt Brenda called. Just hear them out, Aunt Brenda had urged. You don't have to forgive them, but make them say it to your face. So, Sunday evening, I pulled up to my parents' house. Again. Snow lined the driveway, crisp and undisturbed. My boots crunched as I approached the front door, heart steady but guarded. The moment I stepped into the dining room, the tension slapped me like wind off the Tetons. Heavy. Stifling. My father stood near the end of the long oak table, posture rigid, hands clasped tightly in front of him. My mother sat at the head, her throne, arms folded, lips drawn into a fine line. Her eyes scanned me like a threat assessment. Leah sat off to the side, pretending to scroll through her phone like her life depended on it. Ethan looked like he might jump out of his chair. Mom broke the silence first, her tone clipped. Do you have any idea what you've done? I raised an eyebrow. Which part are we upset about? Canceling the turkey? Bringing Grandma to Christmas? Or the part where people stop believing your version of things? You're so dramatic, she snapped. Dad tried to play mediator. Your mother's upset, you made her look bad. No, I said, voice calm but firm. She did that herself, I just stopped hiding it. Mom's face flushed. You mean your version of events? Because in my version you abandoned this family, held on to resentment, and chose revenge over reconciliation. Misunderstanding? My voice cracked through the room. You didn't invite me. You let me pay for the entire meal, then acted like I didn't exist. We thought it would be easier, she said through clenched teeth. Less drama. Then you spread lies, told people I was unstable, tried to turn the entire family against me. You embarrassed me, she hissed, in front of everyone. And then Ethan spoke, quiet but clear. Mom, he said, you did exclude her. You told us she wasn't coming. You knew she paid. You never stopped it. That was wrong. She turned to him, eyes flashing. Oh, don't you start to? But Ethan didn't flinch. No, you crossed the line. You always do, whenever someone calls you out. The room froze, and something cracked. Dad shifted. We should have handled it differently. Mom narrowed her eyes. What does that mean? He hesitated. Maybe. She has a point. It wasn't finished. You didn't just leave me out, I said. You called half the family claiming I was unstable, that I'd snapped. Why, Mom? She opened her mouth, and for once, the truth came out. Because I was embarrassed. Silence fell. She blinked, as if surprised by herself. I didn't know what to say when people asked. It got out of hand. I didn't want to be the villain. So you made me the villain, I said quietly. She said nothing. And for the first time, I saw my father look at her like he didn't recognize her. Ethan stayed quiet, jaw tight. Even Leah muttered, wow. The lies, the manipulation. Exposed. I stood. I'm done. I don't need an apology. But I need you to hear this. I'm done. Mom flinched. Wait, no, you don't get to walk away like that. You did this, I said. You shut me out, then rewrote the story to protect yourself. She had no reply. I turned to Dad. You let it happen. That hurt too. He looked down. Leah blinked. I should have said something. Ethan nodded. Same. It didn't fix anything, but it mattered. Weeks passed. Mom sent surface texts. Can we move past this? I left them unread. Aunt Brenda checked in. Grandma sent a handwritten letter full of warmth. Then, mid-January, Ethan texted. Want to grab coffee? We met in downtown Bozeman. 3 hours of quiet honesty. I kept the peace so long, he said. I didn't see the damage. Yeah, I said. I get it. And I realized I wasn't alone anymore. If you've ever been called too much for setting boundaries, this story is for you. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's survival. Subscribe for more stories that finally tell the truth.